Good evening, everybody. It's Charlie, and welcome back to another video on the Chatting Leeds YouTube channel. Hope everyone has had a great Friday so far. It's finally the weekend, guys. It's the day before the game, and we all know what that means. It's time for your match preview ahead of Huddersfield against Leeds at the John Smith Stadium tomorrow for the early kickoff at 12:30. Just before we get into the preview in more detail, guys, make sure you are smashing that like button. It really does help get the video out there to more people. Please subscribe to the channel if you are brand new. We're on the road to 3,000 subscribers. If you could help me out and reach that milestone as quick as possible, that would be very much appreciated. Hit the notification bell so that you're always aware of when I'm uploading and going live. And of course, get all of your thoughts and opinions into the comment section down below of what you think will go down at the John Smith Stadium tomorrow in the epic West Yorkshire Derby. Well, I say epic, it's epic to all those Huddersfield fans, isn't it? That, I've seen so many over the last few days who are really trying to make out that we're obsessed with them for some weird reason when it is very much the other way around. There's a few accounts that I've seen, especially after Chelsea beat us the other night, who, were kind of laughing at Leeds United. But then when you look at it, it's Chelsea who have got 120 million pound players in their lineup, and they're laughing at us. I think they'd have got absolutely mauled by Chelsea the other night, whereas we gave them a very, very good game. But yeah, Huddersfield, it is definitely their biggest game of the season, apart from the game at Ellen Road. We all know what happened earlier on in the season. I believe it was around October time, where we absolutely tore them a new arsehole, in my opinion. Under Darren Mower's shy time. Yeah, they were awful that day. Leeds United 4-0 up at half-time, a brace from Somerville, a brace from Dan James. They did pull one back in the second half after an Ilan Meslier error. But apart from that, they offered nothing that day under Darren Moore, and he did get sacked not long after. But now, they have got a new German head coach. Obviously, they've had success with a German coach in the past when they had David Wagner, who got them promoted to the Premier League. I believe his first name is Andre. I'm not even going to try and say his last name because I'll probably butcher it. But I was listening to the Phil Hay podcast with the Square Ball on the way home from work, and Phil Hay was saying that, he has got good pedigree in Germany, but has never really stuck around at many clubs. His style of play, from what he could gather, is that he likes his teams to be on the front foot, and a very attacking-based system, which can only feed into Leeds United's hands. They did have a good result away at Watford last week. They beat them 2-1, but I still thoroughly expect Leeds United to win this game. I don't think it'll be as comfortable as what it was at Ellen Road earlier on in the season. I think it's the new coach's first home game in charge. They'll be on a little bit of a high after beating Watford last week. They are coming into this game in some okay form by their standards. They do still currently sit 19th in the division, whereas obviously we are in that top two on goal difference. And, the fact that we've got the early kickoff can only be an advantage. If we get the win, then it gives Leicester, it gives Ipswich and Southampton something to think about going into their fixtures later on that afternoon. But yeah, look, Huddersfield haven't got any notable players that I can think of that I'm really worried about. My only fear is this new manager bounce, which is a thing in football. It is, sometimes a coach just goes into a team and just has a different philosophy, a different way of putting his message across. And, teams can feed off that, and it can impact them in a positive way. Do I think Leeds will win the game tomorrow? Yes. But like I said, I don't think it'll be as comfortable as the 4-1 home win earlier on in the season. Like I said last night on the live edition of The Last Say, which if you haven't already, go and check that out from last night. It was a good discussion over there regarding the Chelsea game. But Daniel Farke did do his press conference yesterday, where he shared team news ahead of this one. Obviously, Elia Gruev did interval training yesterday, so he will be a late decision to see if he is in contention for the game tomorrow. I think Farke said that if he trained well today, then he would definitely be available and up for selection. But my thing is that, look, if I personally think that if Gruev is unavailable for this game, then I think we will see Liam Cooper come into the team in the back four. And I think the double pivot will be Ethan Ampadu and Glenn Kamara. But if obviously Gruev is past fit and is available, I think it'll be obviously Gray, Rodon, Ampadu, and Firth at the back with Elijah Gruev and Kamara in the pivot. Hopefully Patrick Bamford is available. Farker said that he is fit and he has trained. So I think it will be Dan James on the right. It will be Somerville on the left. It will be Rutter in the 10 and Patrick Bamford up front. The only change that could potentially change to that lineup I've just said, could see Willie Gnonto instead of Dan James. Dan James did start the other night, which makes me think that he's a lot more fit than what he was. So hopefully we can see Dan James from the start. I think he will be a huge benefit in that team tomorrow. Really working their left back with his pace down that right hand side for us. It'll be good to have Jorginho back in the team as well after he missed the Chelsea game. I do thoroughly believe that if he had been involved against Chelsea the other night, that we could have won the game. But that is what it is. We ultimately focus on promotion now. I don't think Perot will be back in the team, which is unfortunate for him. It is a bit of a debate ongoing at the minute, Bamford or Perot. I do think Bamford works better in this system, but I do think Perot is the better, more natural finisher of the two. He has scored 11 goals, which people seem to forget. A lot of them, might be tap-ins or penalties, but you've still got to have the composure and the positional awareness to be in those positions, obviously, to score those goals. But I do feel for him, hopefully he can come good. But I have to admit, as a big Perot fan, I do have to concede the fact that Patrick Bamford does work better in this system. And, if he can really occupy those Huddersfield centre-backs tomorrow, plus the pace of Dan James or Gnonto on the right and Somerville on the left, I thoroughly expect Leeds United to get all 3 points. I think we'll be winning the midfield battle as well, whoever's in there. I hope Gruev is okay because, I don't really want to change the winning mentality too much, the winning team too much, sorry. But, 9 wins in a row at the minute. If win tomorrow, that's obviously 10, which is unbelievable. And then, we can go into a home game on Tuesday night under the lights against Stoke City with even more confidence and hopefully dispatch of them before playing Sheffield Wednesday on Friday. Games coming quick and fast at the minute. We may see a bit of rotation, but I think Daniel Farker has learned from experience, the earlier games of the season. Stoke away as a perfect example when they beat us that night. Yes, it was a Patrick Bamford penalty away from us winning it, but still, he did make too many changes that night and it just didn't work. It didn't gel. So I think he has learned from that. But I think we could see minor tweaks over the next 3 games, but I think tomorrow, if Gruev is fit, I think it'll be more or less unchanged. I think the only kind of headache he might have is Dan James or Willie Gnonto. My score prediction for this, I've been saying 3-0 today and over the last few days, but as I'm sat here now, Huddersfield, coach's first home game. Like I say, I do think we'll win, but as we get closer, I think they may score. I'm going to go 3-1. I do think we'll score 3 goals either way, but I'll say 3-1 just to be on the safe side. But my heart is saying 3-0, but my head is definitely saying 3-1. So as I said at the beginning, guys, hit me up in the comment section with all your thoughts and opinions, your score predictions, your goal scorers, and how you're feeling going into tomorrow afternoon's fixture. On the way out, make sure you are smashing a like on the video as well. It really does help get it out there to more people. As I say, please subscribe if you are brand new and hit the notification bell. And make sure that you are checking out the sponsor of the channel, Mr. Josh Firth. His links to his Instagram and his Etsy store are in the description. He does all football graphic stuff, mugs, coasters, T-shirts, phone cases. He's even helped me out with some YouTube art, which you can see in that corner there somewhere. So yeah, he's really good at what he does. So anything that you need relating to football graphics, make sure you check him out. And I will be back on the channel tomorrow morning with a live edition of Matchday Thoughts, where I'll be getting all your guys' instant thoughts going into tomorrow's game live. And then there'll be your match review after the game, followed by the last say on Sunday. So what I'm trying to say basically, guys, plenty of content for you to get your teeth stuck into over the weekend. So make sure you keep it locked at Chatting Leeds. Enjoy the rest of your Friday night. Come on, Leeds, and I'll see you in a bit. Cheers.